Hi, I'm Lynn Bridgeford from Bios, and today in our series on mental health and coaching, we're going to be talking about self-care. Now, what is self-care? It may seem obvious, and some of it is very basic. We have many aspects and areas of self-care. The very basic is going to be physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So starting with our physical self-care, we need to sleep well, rest well, eat well, and get enough exercise. And I will add to that, drink enough water. So this may be simple. Another part of self-care is good basic hygiene. So we need to feed our bodies, we need to clothe them, we need to rest them, and we need to clean them. So good hygiene is a sign of self-care as well. So what are the signs that you need more self-care? It's going to be when you're low in energy, where you can't get through your day, you're feeling a sense of overwhelm or depressed. People are telling you that you work too hard and you need to take a break. These are all signs that you need to invest in some self-care. Now, in my feeling, the best way to introduce anything into our day is in bite-sized pieces that we can manage. So we can look at the physical, which is exercise. Physical self-care may be having a shower when you come in from work, so you wash off the day and start fresh in the evening and can look at life with fresh eyes and maybe still take the time to cook dinner and to sit down and relax and have some quality time with some friends or family or with yourself. These little things can make a huge difference. So looking at emotional self-care, we need to be aware of our feelings. And being aware of feelings is also being able to honour them and being honest with ourselves about what we're feeling. Sometimes our cultures don't encourage us to have feelings, and feelings are our power. They tell us how we are in a situation. And it's not about emoting over everybody, it's about a self-awareness. That feeling came up and that wasn't comfortable, so I'm going to take it, either get some help or take self-care and have a look at how can I work with myself to feel better in that situation and have some understanding of where it's coming from, how to feel differently if that's what we want. Mental self-care could be about how we're thinking, watching our language, things we say. It could also be about our intellect. Are we taking care of our intellect with things we need to study to keep our minds alive? Do we need to exercise our minds with something like a crossword or a Sudoku or something that keeps your function going? At different stages in life, self-care can be important in different ways, and particularly in rehab after events. In day-to-day life, we also need to take care of our mental health. Self-care is where we can have our most powerful impact on a daily basis. We also may need to look at professional self-care. So how are we in the environment in our work? How are we responding? How are our relationships? What's the health of those? What is our professional interaction or our professional feeling? What is our profession giving us? Are we being careful with ourselves that what we're working with is nourishing, and preferably the ideal is to work with something you love or at something you love. If this isn't the case, then look at how you can find a way to improve your professional care, your self-care. If you need help, get professional help. That is also a kind of self-care. Social self-care can involve yourself and it can involve other people. And it may be standing back and having a look at, are you enjoying your social interactions, or are you going to events that don't interest you with people that don't interest you because you feel you should? Now, we do have a duty of care with ones we love and in our profession. What I'm talking about is where we go to something that we don't really want to. We either feel uncomfortable or we feel bored or we feel we've wasted our time. That's not good social care. So I would encourage you to have a look and see where you feel good in your social life. Where are you being caring to go and mix with people that you enjoy being with for whatever reason? and doing things that you love. Social care is a really vital part of self-care. Do something every day that you enjoy, even a little thing. Financial self-care is something we aren't really taught at school. If we're lucky, our parents teach us, and otherwise we may have to stumble through it, learning how to handle finances, how to handle business. If you need more skills in finding out how to be financially self-caring, then maybe do some online courses, get some help, get some mentoring, get the care you need to have good financial health. Some people mention environmental self-care. So that would be, how are we in our environment? Are we taking care that we are interacting well with our environment and it's interacting well with us? So do we have things in the area that affect us, like Wi-Fi posts very close, or electrical posts, or something that has an impact from the environment? And do we need to do something to help counteract that in our energy and in our health? There are many things we can do. I have devices in the house that help protect from the radiation of Wi-Fi and masts and telephones. We carry Wi-Fi and radiation around with us everywhere these days. So I have crystals and devices that help minimize the impact on my body. Some people are so sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies that they need to turn their Wi-Fi off at night to be able to sleep. So rather than being kooky about it, just find what impacts you and how you need to best take care of yourself with your environment. Spiritual self-care can be different things to different people. What is the spirit? It's not religion. It's that bigger thing than ourselves that kind of keeps us going. We don't know what makes us beings alive. When we're alive, we're breathing. When we're not breathing. What is that consciousness? There are many studies on it. What is our spiritual self-care? So that can be different things for different people. It may be meditating, it may be having a connection with people. For some people it may be religion. Whatever works for you that gives you that sense of being part of a greater whole and feeling healthy within that, that's good self-care. Everyone has different ideas of what spirituality is for them, and that's how it should be. Just take care of your own spiritual well-being. Having a routine of self-care tends to decrease anxiety and depression, to decrease stress, to increase our sense of connectedness, to increase our happiness, our energy and our sense of connectedness, and to minimize our sense of frustration and anger. So this is a big reward for self-care. So where do we start? I have a morning routine that I absolutely love, and I will tell you that in a while. And what I recommend to many of the people I see is to start with something simple. I like the morning, but it doesn't matter when you do your self-care. It's just important that you do something. I like to suggest doing something to help the vagus nerve, which helps us calm down. And very simple things for that are gargling. So I like to gargle in the morning. And gagging. So I do tongue scraping to gag because that has a positive impact on the vagus nerve, which helps us calm down. Another one is cold showers. Now I don't advocate jumping in a cold shower and being breathless. What I would suggest is at the end of a shower, gradually turn the water down and build up from 15, 20, 30 seconds and breathe, because what we're going to do when we get the shock of cold water is hold our breath. So what we want to do is breathe out slowly and let that cold water wash over you. It's said to decrease inflammation, to improve our health, and it is invigorating, and you do get used to it. I love doing it in the morning. Another form of self-care I recommend is meditation or mindfulness. Now, meditation can be many things, and I've met several people who believe they cannot meditate because they can't still their mind. Now, meditation isn't about being able to still the mind. It is the act of withdrawing from the thoughts, sitting back and letting the thoughts go, coming back to whether it's the breathing, a word, whatever works for you, and disengaging with the thoughts, even if you have to do that every microsecond. Do it gently, non-judgment, non-aggression, just withdraw, come back to the breath or the sound or whatever you're using. And the more we practice that, the calmer we can feel. I've taught that to people who start to feel better within 3 minutes. One of the barriers that I find to doing any kind of self-care is I don't have time. So I suggest take 2 or 3 minutes to do something. And the feedback I usually get from people is, well, I gargled this morning and I sat down and did 3 minutes meditation and I can't believe how much better I felt. And I felt good that I'm doing something for myself. So that's maybe 5 minutes. And we can all find half an hour to waste. And the challenge of finding 5 minutes to do something really positive and really good seems to be something for humans to conquer. So I'd invite you to take some self-care, take things whichever work for you and add it gradually into your day. If it doesn't work, drop it and do something else. And think about the different areas. Certainly think about sleeping well, eating nourishing food, drinking water, relaxing. Get help when you need it. So my morning routine, I get up, I feed my kitties, and I do a sound meditation that is chanting, which is different chants through the chakras, so I clear my chakras in the morning. It's lovely to do. It takes me about 10 minutes and my physiology completely changes. I then go upstairs and I do tongue scraping because that's nice with the tongue scraper. I make sure I gag, so that's good for the vagus nerve. Then I gargle with warm salt water. Then I take a neti pot and I cleanse my nostrils with salt water either side and clear the nasal passages. It feels wonderful. There is another thing I do with sea buckthorn oil and a hot flannel on my face, and that feels wonderful. I come downstairs, put the kettle on, and I do Tarzan breath to wake up the lungs. I do pump breath to increase my lung capacity. I do Uddiyana, which is a core exercise, and Nauli, turning the tummy around, which is another core exercise. I go on all fours. I do cat-cow with the breath to connect the lungs to all the parts of the body. And then I do an exercise called stomach flapping, fanning the gastric fires. I then take a lovely cup of coffee with oatcakes, cinnamon, ginger and honey, and I sit outside and get some fresh air and listen to the birds. That's my routine. It doesn't take me more than about half an hour. It's taken a while to build it up. Start with a few minutes of something that makes you feel good and makes you feel so good that you'd feel you'd missed a meal if you didn't do it. Enjoy your self-care and enjoy the rewards. Thank you so much.